Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia. With me today, we have Brandon.
Hello.
We're talking about games and things.
Games and things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see what's on the agenda today. Tetris movie's out.
It is. I haven't got to watch it yet. I'm sad. Yeah, I know you did.
Yeah, well, you can see the list. So we just talked about
Mm-hmm.
it. So yeah. So is that you've been playing more of the Resident Evil 4 remake?
I have.
Thoughts on other things that have come out
recently? Yep.
Additionally. And then
we can just talk about some shit, just shoot the shit for a bit.
Yeah. So that's where Ready to get into it?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I don't know. I guess Tetris is the newest
thing. Yeah, start with that. Let's go with that.
So AppleTV put out Tetris this week. That is their dramatization based on the real life events about the events that took place to secure the rights to Tetris for release in the United States. And I think worldwide, specifically for the Game Boy, is really what it was.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting because it talks about, like, the story is, as the movie goes, pretty much genuinely as I remember it going from reading about it before. So it seems like it follows a lot of historical stuff pretty well. But obviously they had to Hollywood it up.
Of course.
There is some Hollywood bits in there that did not happen, like a KGB car chase, which seemed very one-sided. Like, it's kind of one of those things. It's like, well, I guess it could have happened, and maybe they just never knew. But because that's how it is. And some of the events in there, like there's one character, and they're like, was this character actually KGB? And they're like, I don't know, but they could have been. I was reading about it afterwards. But I don't know. They could have been. But they suspiciously knew where everything was in Russia. Like, and you figure, like, a normal citizen would not necessarily know the location of, like, government buildings. So could be KGB, but we don't know. So yeah, no, I thought that was interesting. So some things that I thought were really good. Soundtrack, banging. Absolutely, awesome. Like, great. And actually, it's on Apple Music.
All right, listen. Here's the question.
Yeah.
I need to know. We've got the Tetris theme, right?
Yeah.
It will definitely. They definitely play the Tetris theme in the movie.
1000%.
Okay, good. That's all I need to know.
They even have a version. I don't know where it is in the movie. It may have been there. It didn't stick out to me if it was. But they have a song in the soundtrack that is the Tetris theme with, like, English lyrics to it.
Interesting.
Like they made up a song based around the Tetris theme.
That's fucking weird, but okay.
It's actually pretty good, I would say.
Okay.
I don't remember. I can look and see what it's called. Let me see because you would think, like, oh, this sounds shitty, but it's kind of like it's a pop song, and they just kind of took, like, the Tetris music and just kind of, here you are. Hold On Tight is what it's called, by Aespa.
Okay.
A-E-S-P-A. And it's got a lot of 80s music in it.
Ooh.
Which I like. And
that's what I like to hear too.
Yeah. Some of them, they even went through and, like, so they got, like, Holding Out for a Hero. You know that song?
Is that the I Need a Hero? That one? Yeah.
Yeah, so they did 2 versions of that song for this movie.
Okay.
And one's in Japanese and one's in Russian. So
neat.
They really went all in. Yeah. But they did something like that. Like, there's another song that they did where they did, like, a Russian dub of the song.
All right.
It sounds really good. Pretty impressive.
That's pretty cool.
Both of them. Very poppy, but very, very true to the original.
All right.
I like that. So yeah, soundtrack, awesome. Kind of like the sound effects and just kind of look, or not sound effects, the just like the general, like the music effects, or not music effects. Oh, what am I talking about?
I don't know.
Yes, graphics, like the graphical effects that they do.
The graphics.
Yeah. And like some of the transition stuff that they do really well. Okay. They have an actor play Hiroshi Yamauchi.
Okay.
Looks spot on. He was in the trailer. I thought the same thing there too. It looks identical to how I remember that man looking.
All right, that's neat.
Yeah. And then they have the other Nintendo people that they have there were, who was it? Peter Howard, I think was his name, who was like the chief legal person for Nintendo of America.
Okay.
And I can't remember the other person. The person who was head of Nintendo for years and years before Reggie. they were both like critical characters in this story. So like they had pretty important roles in the movie. So
Okay.
I'm just kind of getting Nintendo to like navigate through it. But yeah, no, it all came out really well. I like that. I do think the pacing's a little bit off. I would say, like it's a little bit slow. It's a 2 hour movie. I don't think it needs to be a 2 hour movie, but I feel like that with every movie. So I think that they probably could have cut out some slow stuff and just kind of made it go a little bit faster. Um, DJ liked the movie too, but he got confused at some of the bits, so we had to pause a couple times, and I kind of explained like historically what was going on. So
Okay.
there was that. I think overall, I think it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I think it was fun to watch. I think that the story alone is interesting enough. Like I don't
Hmm.
know if it necessarily needed like that Hollywood dramatization to make it like suspenseful, because it was already a very suspenseful story. Um, because I don't know, for those of you that don't know, it was kind of like Tetris was a game that was made in Russia during the Cold War, and it was a very popular game. Someone had bought the rights to it, they thought, but apparently they did not buy the rights to it everywhere, and they were selling it. And then Nintendo wanted it, and they were looking to get the rights from this guy who had them, and then they come to find out that he didn't actually have the rights, and the rights that they wanted were still open, and they have to go to Russia to get them. So that's
It's
kind
kind
of
of
just,
crazy.
yeah, it is. And then it turns into kind of like a bidding war between them, and that's also where you got that 10 gen Atari game, or 10 gen Tetris game. Well, I'm really bouncing around my words today. 10 gen Tetris game, where they kind of, because they thought they had gotten the rights from the other people that thought they had the rights, which didn't have the rights. And so yeah, it turns into this like really interesting like copyright like landslide. So yeah, so it kind of like helps you navigate through all that. I thought the acting was really good. I liked all the actors that were in the movie. I thought they were pretty fun, and I thought they did a good job with their roles as they were portraying them. So overall, like I said, I think it was a good movie. I think if you have Apple TV, definitely enjoyable. Like I said, maybe a little bit slow in the beginning, but I think as it goes on, because I think it just has a lot of exposition to kind of set out. I think that's kind of the issue in the beginning too, because you have to kind of give the backstory with what's going on with the Tetris stuff before you get to this point. And you also have to kind of give this backstory of like Nintendo before you get to this point, because it said this is supposed to be like the launch of the Game Boy, so they're kind of setting you up for that kind of stuff there.
Hmm.
So overall, like I said, good, good, good.
All right. Nice.
Yeah. Any questions that you had on it? Otherwise,
No, because I'm gonna watch it, so I don't really want to know anything else,
yeah.
honestly.
No, you should watch it.
So there's
Yeah.
that.
Okay. That's the only big thing I have to talk about this week. I'll let you talk about some of your stuff and
Okay.
see.
So I guess I'll start with Resident Evil 4 remake again.
Mm-hmm.
I've been going through that game more. This time I played it on my Steam Deck.
Uh-huh.
So I was kind of sick also this past week, so I was just in bed playing games. So I played stuff on my Steam Deck mainly,
Okay.
and all right, and the few times I did play things, it was that. So when I played Resident Evil 4 remake, I got up to and past the part where you fight inside the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
You remember what I'm talking about? That big fight in the cabin? That fight was
Yeah.
a lot more hectic this time around. I was actually very surprised by how difficult it was. I didn't die at all when I was fighting it, but it was crazy. I was constantly having to just run up and downstairs, jump out down the stairs, land on top of other things, run around tables, throw flashbangs to kill things at like one hit, and whenever I got the big the big tentacle things to pop out of their heads. So it was pretty crazy. I had a lot of fun playing that. And
Okay.
on the Steam Deck, it runs very, very well. I had like zero problems running it at like high settings on the Steam Deck. It was great.
Okay.
So yeah, mostly 30 FPS experience. Steam
Uh-huh.
Deck, high settings. It was good. I had a lot of fun with it. And then yeah, there's some there's some interesting things that they added to it, such as this like shooting range sort of deal. And the shooting range essentially works as a way to get gachapons. The higher you get on the shooting range,
Was it different than the
the
shooting range that was in there before?
um I don't remember the one from before. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
Can you tell me like what was it like?
So it's just kind of a shooting, like a old timey kind of shooting range.
Oh no. This you have to go into an elevator behind the merchant, and he takes
Mhm.
you downstairs in this place where he's set up like cardboard cutouts that you have to shoot, and others you have to avoid shooting.
I think that's kind of what it is. Let me see
Okay,
if I
and
can find
then
a video.
okay, cool. Yeah, if we can find it, that'd be great. I can tell you the like extra stuff that's added though, at least. See, Resident Evil 4, not remake. Let's just go shooting range. All I'm getting is the fucking remake.
Yeah, let me see if I can find. Oh, I got an idea.
Maybe I go this way. Okay, so yeah, I see the shooting range we have here. Yeah, it's actually very different from the shooting range.
Okay, found it.
So there are pirates that appear, and there are little skulls that are like medallions, and some of them move quite fast, and you have to shoot like the pirates with the medallions. And when you hit the skull medallions, they'll like break and give you extra points. And if you destroy enough things in quick succession, then you're able to go to a bonus round where a bunch of treasure chests and stuff like appear on the ground, and you're able to break those. But you kind of want to focus on breaking all the medallions and avoiding hitting on any of the other enemies. You have like one that's like a pistol, one that's like just a sniper rifle, and then one that's a pistol and a sniper rifle. Those are the ones I've played so far. And there's several others hidden throughout the game that I have not played yet, but I've had a lot of fun playing what I have played thus far, and it's really cool. And when you get like an S rank on them or A rank, you get these little coins that you can turn in at this gachapon machine, and the gachapon machine give you trinkets like keychains, and those keychains you can actually hang on your suitcase where you keep all your items and everything when you're like changing out your items and crafting stuff and whatnot. And different gachapons actually do things in the game. So like if you have, for instance, I'll just give you an example. There's one that comes with pre-orders, and it might just be a purchase of the game now, but I know it was originally pre-orders, which was an ammo gachapon like keychain thing. And when you hang that onto your briefcase, you have a chance of getting double ammo whenever you craft ammo for your pistol. And there's like other ones that have other things like a 5% chance to hit like a crit more often with this gun or whatever, something like that. So I do it because it's collectible and it's fun. Other people do it because you can actually make yourself like super overpowered if you're able to get like the good ones, essentially.
Okay.
But they're fun, and I was having a lot of fun playing that. So I actually spent most of my time playing the shooting range levels of Resident Evil 4 remake to like clear the ones that I hadn't cleared yet. So yeah, that's what I
Mhm.
did in the game, and it was good. And it was enjoyable, and I still love this game. It is
Okay.
fantastic. Um, let's share my. Yeah, so I also played Theatrhythm. I played a lot of Theatrhythm.
Mhm.
Uh, so Theatrhythm Final Bar on PS4, which is what I've been playing it on. It's different from the DS version, obviously. In that, see, how can I explain this?
I don't know.
Um, so when you choose the like Final Fantasy song or like series you're gonna play, if you complete like the first four, you'll then get like a key out of a treasure chest. Now, if you get the key out of the treasure chest, you're then able to take that key and unlock any of the other Final Fantasy series music of your choosing. So I've been going through like the campaign and doing that, and so far I've cleared like 7, I've cleared 8, I've cleared 1, I've cleared 13, and I cleared one other. What was it? 10. I cleared 10. So I full cleared those. Went all the way through it. Did 16 songs and like got, ranks that were passing. But I've mostly been doing um expert or higher, but I tried to do one of the like highest difficulty ones, and that shit is insane. I had no idea what to do with some of the uh note charts for that because it's so weird. So essentially, since you have two thumbsticks to work with in the game, um, some of the like higher difficulty note charts do things like flick down, flick left at the same time, or like flick down and left and down and right at the same time, and
Okay.
like it's kind of gets complicated. And then some of them also have you like holding a button while also essentially doing what is called gallops in like rhythm games, where you go from like one button to another button without letting go of the other button until you get right to the end so that you can like time it correctly. And you kind of have to do that back and forth at the higher difficulties of the game, and it's like it's really difficult to explain, but they made this game so much harder than the original DS version, and it's so much fun. I've been having a blast playing Theatrhythm. So, yeah. There we
Yeah,
go.
I know what the series really like. Did you end up getting the DLC for it?
I have not bought it yet, mostly because I had looked at the songs from Nier that they have on there, and they don't have some of my favorite ones. So I'm just kind of like hoping they'll give us a second pack with more music, because the like 4 I think that they give us are not my favorite songs. In
No.
fact, like I only like 2 of them. So it's like, I don't really know if I want to. I could pay the $15 and get all of them, but then at the same time, I don't really have any kind of connection that I care about to Final Fantasy Adventure music. Like, yeah, sure, it's good, but it's like, I don't really care that much. And then like the only one that I'm like 100% would be all in on is the World Ends With You music, because the World Ends With You music in the DLC is fucking incredible, and I kind of want to just buy that one separately and just get the rest of the DLC later, which I'm thinking about doing, but I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. I kind of want to play more of the game before I make that decision, so there's that. And then I guess I have some thoughts on other things. Oh my goodness. So I've been keeping an eye on and have been testing with the new patches, The Last of Us Part 1.
Okay.
You may remember my
Yeah, I remember your rant
experience with The Last of Us Part 1. It certainly was. Like that's something I can say about it, essentially. Yeah. So it has not gotten better. Like at all. It has only really gotten worse, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
And they put out some patches. They put out one, I think a second one just came out, to be completely honest. But it is not looking so good right now. And
I heard the patch fixed a lot of things.
no.
No? What did it fix?
What did it fix? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Or what didn't it fix? I couldn't hear what you said.
I guess it really doesn't matter. Whichever
Okay.
picture you choose.
Yeah, so it didn't fix pretty much everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it fixed, I don't know.
Okay.
So, a little bit of backstory. They put out a patch like a day later after I got off with you, and it was running okay. And I thought it was going better, and then it just started crashing again for no reason the further I went in, and it kept crashing. And then I stopped playing it completely, except when like the new patches came out, like for like an hour maybe each time a new patch came out. The reason I stopped was because people started reporting their entire cards being bricked because of the game. And I was like, that is not good. And then other people started reporting that no, that's not that. And there was like a whole hubbub where it's like it might be the card that the person had that was the issue, or it might actually be the game. And then other people were like, no, it's not the game. They looked into it, but so I haven't gone back, but I was kind of I was kind of like scared to like play it for a while there, essentially, because of everything that happened, and because I just got a new graphics card and I did not want to like damage it, essentially. And so I'm gonna go back to it again later on, but I've uninstalled it to make some room right now. But my experience from when I did play it, it just stuttered a lot, like a whole lot. Like the game itself got fixed one day, and then the next day with the next update, it was just a stuttering fucking mess. And then so on and so forth, back and forth. I think there were 2 updates that I played through. One made it better, and then it just got worse again. And several people actually had it be so worse that they had to completely rebuild their shaders a second time. So another hour of waiting, essentially, for the shader compilation. So like the people that had like 2 hours before, it got down to like, an hour now instead. And the people had like 40 minutes, it got down to like 20 minutes. But still, it's a ridiculous amount of time for the shaders to be compiled, and it's honestly unacceptable. And then after all of that, Digital Foundry put out a video.
Okay.
So in case you don't know who Digital Foundry are, they're like some of the best tech YouTubers for reviewing ports, reviewing technology, and games on PC and console, and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So they did a video on it. During their video, they created a computer that was essentially the equivalent of a PlayStation 5. With the computer that they created, which was the equivalent of the PlayStation 5, which was essentially a 2070 Super with a 3600 Ryzen, which, that's pretty decent rig. They were able to only play on medium textures. And what they realized very quickly is that medium textures with high settings of everything else or anything like that actually makes the game look worse than the PlayStation 3 version.
Really?
Yeah, so this PS5 game looked worse than the PlayStation 3 version with the texture settings set to medium. Medium was the recommended for like 8 gigabytes of VRAM graphics cards. And to like put that into perspective for you, since you don't really know that much about graphics cards, those cards are going to cost you anywhere from $400 to $600 that are 8 gigabytes of VRAM, essentially. Mm-hmm. So you're paying like a decent chunk of money. That's a decent chunk of money for a graphics card to not even get like PS3 graphics settings, essentially. So it's a big fucking mess. And
sounds like it.
It was not good, honestly. It was like really bad. And they continued showing. They were like, all right, well, we're going to continue going along with this. And they had stuttering. They had big trouble. They like looked through some of the things, and they discovered that whenever you cross certain checkpoints, it like compiles all the textures as you do so. And that was where some of the stuttering was coming from. And it was because it was not programmed correctly, and that was the reason it was doing that in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And after they discovered that, it then like went even more ridiculous, because they brought in their big top of the line graphics card, the highest of the high end, a $1,600 graphics card, a 4090 with a high end CPU as well with it. And I think it was 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM as well. So they had all that good jazz, all the bells and whistles, clearly a $3-4 grand computer. Before the end of the 1 hour long tech review / preview of the game, their 4090 crashed on them.
Oh no.
While playing the game. Their most expensive graphics card that you could possibly buy and own could not run the game correctly without it crashing. That is the state this port is in. And by the end of it, they basically said this is like completely unacceptable. And they don't know what happened, but it is just not acceptable in this condition, essentially. Mm-hmm. So it showed a lot of people just how bad it was. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it was really, really bad. So it's just astonishing to me how poor this port is. So yeah,
it sounds like it's pretty bad.
There was supposed to be an update today, either like an hour ago or at 7 p.m. I'm not sure which one it is, that brings out the next big huge patch. Mm-hmm. So here's hoping that actually does something. But I currently have the fucking game uninstalled because of just how bad it was. So yeah.
No, don't blame you. I thought you refunded it.
I did not refund it.
I'm surprised.
Yeah. No, I want to continue to be able to test this. So yeah. So I'm keeping an eye on this fucking monstrosity right now. Plus, it doesn't matter because essentially, due to how bad it is, they're accepting refunds for no matter how long you play. So.
Oh, hey, I think we were wondering if that's what they were going to do last week, if I recall now.
Yeah, so the only confirmation we have of this is that people have been like submitting refunds for like 6 to 10 to 12 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and they've just gotten their refund immediately allowed. But I don't have, there hasn't been like an announcement of like, oh yeah, we're doing this or anything, so it's not like an official thing, but like people have been able to get that refund. So your mileage may vary. So there's that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been kind of a mess in general. Like I don't know what made them think this was a good idea to release it in this state, but it is what it is, I guess.
Money.
I guess I'll talk about something else because I played through more Mario Kart DLC.
Yeah.
I did get to check out those new stages, and you're right, they are excellent. So I really don't have that much to say other than like I had a lot of fun playing this. I've been playing through more DLC and I've been enjoying it a lot. So yeah, Mario Kart.
Have you played all of them now?
No, I've got like I think 2 more, and they're all like just remake levels. But I played the new like levels, the 2 new levels, and they were great.
So you finally did the Yoshi's Island.
Mm-hmm. That one was fantastic.
I told you it's like the best one.
It is. It's actually better than most of the remake levels.
Yeah. No, it's really fucking good. It's wild.
So, all right. Let's move on to news. I got nothing else.
Okay. What do we got in news? I don't know. Where's the news?
There's news.
There's a lot of things on there. Yeah.
Yeah, I put some things because I want to have a conversation about a few things that happened over the weekend.
Okay. I'll put my little one in there, and then we can go on the other things. So, newish news: Pokemon Stadium for the Nintendo 64 is coming out on April 12th, the first one.
Nice.
As was said before, there's not going to be linking from any Pokemon games. Not like you could, anyways, since you don't have any to link to currently.
Yep.
With the close down of the eShop, but yeah, that is coming out. Unknown if they're going to make any tweaks to this game to make it more playable, because from what I understand, playing this game with the rental Pokemon alone is virtually impossible. So curious to see what this will end up being like when we actually get to try it out. Are they going to make tweaks to it so that it is more enjoyable? Or are they going to leave it as is? And, maybe kind of someday with, not telling us at least, but maybe with someday the intention that they're going to make it so you can transfer Pokemon in to play it and complete it. Don't know. But I'm really sick of this stupid trickle out virtual console bullshit that I've been bitching about for years. So not like I expected anything different here, but
yeah,
that is what it is. We've been talking about it since I don't know, when did we start this podcast? The Wii U, I think.
Oh man, a long time ago.
Yeah. It was an issue then, and it was issue on the 3DS when they put the virtual console there, and it's an issue here now that they have those things here, and why they just can't be like, here's all the things, here's our library, enjoy. I mean, to some degree, I can understand with the N64 because I think they have to do a little bit more work on them than say with like the NES and the Super Nintendo and presumably the Game Boy games. But yeah, no, I just don't understand why. It's like, hey, we're gonna get you. So you guys want Game Boy Advance games? Here's 4. Like, wait, you have to wait another month to get another one. Like, come on. I don't know why you're trying to drag this out till eternity, but yeah. So I don't know. Pokemon 64. That's it. In terms of promise stuff that's still left, what do we have? Pokemon Stadium 2, Mario Party 3, still on the way. And then we got what? Excite Bike, 1080. I think those are the rest of the titles that have still been announced but not yet released at this point. So we're getting closer. I'm waiting for that to end up sooner than later because I really want to see if they're just going to give us a bunch of like, hey, here's the next 6 or so titles that we're going to be bringing to the platform, because that's more exciting to me than this like drip feed of one title every once in a while that they announced like 6 months ago. So we'll see. But yeah, so that's all. That's all I have to say about Pokemon Stadium.
Okay.
Moving on. Sonic's dead.
Yeah. So we had a new Sonic game be released for April Fool's Day. It's a murder mystery game where we have to figure out who killed Sonic.
Yeah.
It's very silly. It's great. So everything I've seen about this, it's very memey, but it's also actually a game. I think it's like maybe 2 or 3 hours, but it's free, so it's like, fuck it, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of all that, I actually watched oh goodness, some of the I didn't watch. I read up on some stuff about it. So apparently, if you name yourself Phoenix Wright, it won't let you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why won't? What just doesn't want?
It's probably
That's
just a
weird that
meme. It's probably just a
no, it
meme.
has to be. That's weird.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a silly little game. It's definitely worth checking out.
Are you playing as a human character? Is that what it is?
I don't actually know. It's kind of like I don't know. I really don't. I don't know enough to tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think it was released on anything other than PC, right?
As far as I know.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on from that. It was a little April Fool's Day joke that was released by Sega, and it's actually a pretty decent game. If you have a PC, it's free on Steam. Go check it out.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. Cyberpunk decided to release a mega update for April.
Mm-hmm.
So they're releasing full path tracing, I guess. It is night and day. The differences with how the game will look if you have a computer that's good enough to run it. I'm going to show you, Mike, because it's only like a minute-long video. I'm just going to post it in general so you can check it out. But yeah, essentially, on the 11th of April, they are doing a complete overhaul to the game from the past graphics. So the game already looked fucking incredible, and now they've decided to add global illumination and path tracing throughout the entire game, not just like in specific scenes or for specific objects. Every object in the entire game will be path traced with global illumination. So that's actually like crazy technology. There's only one other game I believe that currently has this, and it's fucking Fortnite. So this is like some some Unreal Engine 5 shit, and it'll be the like second game that really shows off that kind of shit. So that's pretty neat. And that will be out on April 11th for free to people who already own the game. I don't think they'll be able to do it with console, but I might be wrong. Who knows? But I do know that it's on 40 series GPUs on the 11th. So I'll get to check it out and let you know how that one runs compared to The Last of Us. It looks incredible.
Yeah.
And I guess the last bit of information I have here, which I actually wrote down, was the Ark devs are pieces of shit. They're fucking idiots, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about Ark. I've probably complained about Ark Survival Evolved quite a few times on this podcast because it's a bad game made by bad people. And they just decided to prove us correct again. As you may know, if you remember from 2019, 2018, Ark 2 was announced, as well as a Netflix series during E3. It had to be 2019 then. So yeah, they showed that off. And then later on during a Microsoft conference, they announced that Ark 2 would be part of Game Pass. So there's that.
Okay.
So what did they decide to do but announce something crazy on April 1st that everyone thought was a joke, because what they announced was fucking stupid. So here's what they announced. Effective in August, all official servers of Ark Survival Evolved will be shut down completely.
Okay.
We will be releasing Ark Survival Ascended.
When you say we, you mean the system, right?
The developers. Yeah.
The Wii system.
We will be releasing Ark Survival Ascended. What this is a complete Unreal Engine 5 remake, remaster, change of Ark Survival Evolved. Now, it's an upgrade. It's a change. But they're destroying the servers that people play on. So it's kind of forcing people to do that. But there's more. It also forces you to buy Ark 2, because the only way you can get Ark Survival Ascended is if you buy the Ark 2 bundle with it.
Okay.
Which is $50.
Okay.
So you're rebuying a game that's currently on sale for $20 and has been given away to people for free, and that people have put thousands upon thousands of hours into for $50.
Seems very deliberate.
But there's more.
Okay.
They're not releasing all the DLC either with the game. So all the DLC that exists currently for Ark 1, you have to rebuy for Ark Survival Extended. And the way you do that is by paying $20 separately per DLC pack. They're not even giving you all of the maps that the game currently has when you buy it. So, when you pay $50, you get access to Ark 2 in 2 years when it launches, the beta when it comes out, and Ark Survival Ascended when that releases in August, after which happens to coincidentally coincide when they're shutting down the servers to the original Ark game right now. The Ascended version of Ark will have 3 of the maps the game currently has, and every other map will be sold back to you individually for $20.
Oh, great.
Looking at it, they are going to be charging altogether $90 for the entire pack. And if that wasn't like bad enough, this also implements something else, which is awful. It's not said to be awful yet, but people are saying it's probably going to be awful. It's implementing cross-platform modding, but it looks like the new tools are going to hinder the current modding scene, and people would have to like buy the new game in order, to like start the modding scene. So the modding scene's starting over completely because now it's on Unreal Engine 5. So all the mods fucking gone. All that good jazz fucking gone, essentially. Restarting from scratch. Now, all of that shit sounds really scummy and really shitty. But what was said a week ago, actually it looks like a month ago now, was that all of this would be free by the developers themselves. And now they're charging for it. But on top of that, all of that was going to be free. It was going to be free because this would also come with several bug updates that people have been patches, that sort of thing that people have been asking for like years, that they had talked about doing, like bug fixes to the original game. So that's why this whole update was going to be free. Yeah, it's not free anymore. It's now fucking basically $90, and that's how you get the new game. A game you've never even seen because they've shown no gameplay for Ark 2. And on top of all of that, you have to rebuy all the DLC, and those patches that they were holding ransom for so long, they're now selling back to players. These developers are shitbags.
Oh, yeah.
And then to put the real cherry on top, the only thing we know about Ark 2 is it has nothing to do with the original game. So they're kind of using this as a way to force people to buy Ark 2 instead of just playing it on Game Pass. Because the only way you can purchase Survival Ascended is if you buy Ark 2. You can't even purchase it separately.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this was dumped on April Fool's Day. So everyone's like, yeah, this is a joke. There's no way they would do this. It's like career suicide, basically. But it was not a joke. It's all 100% real, and it's very, very shitty.
And on it, you think after you see the backlash, you'd be like, April Fools! Like, it seems like the perfect day to do it. Let's test out this wild idea, and if it's really poorly perceived, then we'll just, April Fool's it and just be like, hey, just kidding. We gotcha. Haha.
Yeah, and so Ark is a survival game. I think I've told you about this before. It's about dinosaurs and survival and this, that, and the other, building a base, maintaining a tribe, that sort of stuff with real people. And Ark 2 is a Souls-like.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very big difference in game genres.
Why would you make such a drastic? I don't know. I mean, I guess games have done that before, but
these people follow trends. These people follow trends. That's the reason why. And also, they're going to make it like Elden Ring, basically, because Elden Ring sold really well, and because they want to release it alongside their Netflix series, which will have Vin Diesel as the main character.
Mm-hmm.
So the Netflix series is a lot more action oriented. So the second game is going to be action oriented. So what better game to do that with than Souls like? So yep, that's uh that's what happened over the weekend. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
It's really fucking shitty, honestly.
Yeah, no, that's wild. Um,
Yep.
I don't know why anyone would think those were good ideas.
I guess they think they can just get away with it because of the ravenous community that they've built up for so long. And the sad thing is, it looks like they're going to.
Why the community's getting behind it now?
No, the community's just like, oh, I'm sure they've got good plans. They're the kind of communities that are just fucking massive simps for
Mm-hmm.
the developers that will defend them every step of the fucking way. And that's what a lot of people are doing, just being like, oh, well, let's wait and see how it is. And I put so many hours into this game. I don't mind giving them more money to do it again. And it's like, are you listening to yourself, you fucking idiot? Okay,
I mean, some people just want to believe, I guess.
I guess there's some people are just stupid.
What else you got?
I got nothing. I got literally nothing.
I have nothing. Unless there's a rumor. Let me check and see if there's any exciting
Okay.
rumors the last couple of days. Rumor check. See what's in the rumor mail. Don't care. Oh, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Story of DLC may release before July 29th.
I really need to play the Xenoblade Chronicles games. Just like go through all of them. I want to. I just don't have the money right now.
Fair.
Yeah. Send me
But
the
this rumor.
first one on Switch and let me play it. I'll send it back to you later.
I have everything digital, so it doesn't really help.
That does not help. You're right.
Yeah. But anyways, so the basis of this rumor is that the soundtrack that includes supposedly music from the DLC is releasing on July 29th. So, if you're going to have DLC soundtrack, then you would presumably think that the DLC will be out before that.
Mm.
So, yeah. Some people were thinking maybe June, which I guess is fair. You got
Hmm.
Zelda in May. So, whatever. Da, 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 da. Not exciting. Sony has unannounced hardware coming soon. There's that. No, there's not anything exciting. An exciting news wise. There is though, supposedly disappointment about the PlayStation VR2 headset sales. Not
Yeah.
surprised.
Oh yeah. 250,000.
Yeah,
Bad. That's really bad.
yeah, not surprising. Not exciting. Um,
They cut down production expecting a million cells. They sold like barely a quarter of it. That's insane.
yeah, but again, what do you expect when you're selling it for more than the system?
The system, exactly.
And also a system that's just very difficult to get.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, their best bet of redemption at this point is to open it up to PC and pray that people start making games for it there and are willing to port them onto the PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to redeem your headset, that's what you need to do. Because you, at least with what you're doing right now, not going to redeem it on your console. Um,
Yeah.
unless you're planning on playing the long game, but I don't think you can support that headset by yourself. So, because there's no way they can support that by themselves.
Mm-mm.
Hey, they can barely
You
make enough games to support their own system.
okay? So let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
Do you know how to buy the VR headset?
with money.
You can't buy it in stores.
I gotta do this PlayStation.
Only through the PlayStation website, and you get put on a wait list, similar to the Steam Deck. So, like,
Uh,
of course they're gonna have low fucking sales if they can't even. What? That's such an asinine way of doing things.
yeah, I was just reading something too, and I don't know. I didn't look further into the story. I saw it, I think this morning or yesterday. Um, and at asterisks, it was Reddit,
Mhm.
so it's possible that this user had something else going on here than just that. Because it would not be the first time that I've seen people post things on Reddit asking for advice about how to handle a situation,
Mhm.
only to find out that it was they did something scummy and they're trying to, you know, slip something past the company. But anyways, so the way that the story goes, though, this person had bought one of the VR headsets and controller didn't work, and so they sent it back to Sony, but they had already
Mhm.
redeemed the code for Horizon.
Oh
And
wow.
and Sony was like, "Hey, you already redeemed the code for Horizon, so
Hmm.
we're not helping you."
Oh wow, that's actually super shitty.
Yeah, so he's like, but he's like, what am I gonna? He's like, I can't use the head, like the controller's broken. I can't use it, and so like, but then he did something dumb, which I mean, at least I think it was. So he bought a second one, and then he tried to send back, I think, like the unused code from that as like part of it, and just keep like the rest.
Hmm.
Um, but that didn't satisfy them either, and he's like, can I just like bounce this back to my credit card to get my money back? Because he's like, I did send them back the defective headset, and they're like, they're like, you can, but you'll never be able to use your PlayStation again,
That's so shitty.
because you know how Sony is. If you bounce back something on the credit card, they'll lock your account. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's where the guy was. I don't know where the story was to like look and see. I doubt it was resolved, because he was saying too, because that was reminded me when you say this, because you have to use that sub. It's not like you're talking to the normal PlayStation people too, but that because you're talking to that subgroup that's responsible specifically for that PlayStation Online store. Um, and so he's just like, it's just you can't get them on the phone. The only way you can talk to them is through like the chat, whatever on the website, and they're just not helpful. So um, so yeah, no, so part of you wants to be like definitely like, oh, I really hope that's not the case. And this guy just did something dumb and is trying to get money back for a headset that,
No,
they're
I
not.
feel like
But I
I
also
feel
kind of
like
feel like
they
it's probably
definitely did that. That is
like,
definitely something they did. Like I feel like that happened.
I mean, I feel like we've seen similar things from Sony in the past, so it's not far fetched.
Hmm.
So yeah, also not a great way to sell headsets, if you're trying to get people
Yeah,
to
definitely not. Definitely not.
jump the roof. But I guess at least according to him, there was a bunch of people who had issues with the controllers, but most of them had more success with getting them, replaced than that. But hey, you don't want to deal with that shit. You spent $500 some dollars on a headset, like a VR headset. You want to be able to use it. So yeah, that sucks. Yes, it does.
Sure does.
Uh, yeah, and then just the other thing that was on there too, not super exciting, and doesn't really mean anything either. But it was supposedly that Nintendo's sending out Switch 2 dev kits. So
Oh, well, well, we'll see how that goes.
yeah, and the other thing to keep in mind with it too is like if you remember how Nintendo sends out dev kits for new systems,
Hmm.
they're very peculiar about who gets them.
Yeah.
Um, because like when the system's in like, because by the time they announce a system, like it's actually like physically like, hey, this is coming. Like a lot of devs don't even usually have dev kits at that point either. Like,
Yeah.
they might be, like their closest like allies will have like real dev kits. They kind of, they'll do internal first, then they'll send it to like close like teams that they're really close with or working on like key software for whatever the next system is.
Hmm.
Then they'll send them to like maybe like bigger third parties like Ubisoft or something. They want to get invested in it. Um, and then after that you'll start getting like the smaller ones. But as they work down that line, some might even just know like, hey, here's the specs we're working with. Target something around this area.
Hmm.
uh, so I don't know if they're getting to the point where you're getting to the point where you're getting to see that there's a leak of like a test thing being out in the wild. It might be closer to like, hey, they're getting ready to announce such a thing. Because that's like I said, by the time it gets to announcement, most developers won't have necessarily a kit yet, but they're at least going to be more easy to find. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think my money's still on like maybe this year or early next year. I think we're gonna get whatever the
Probably
next.
an announcement at the end of the year, and then like, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I could see them doing it as part of their how to. I think that whatever their like summer um direct is gonna be, I think they'll be like, hey, you know, we have this new system coming up,
Hmm.
and we're gonna talk about it in the fall. Um, I think that's what it will be because they usually they're so cryptic too, because that's what they'll do. They'll keep it super close. They'll let you know it's coming, but they won't tell you what it is.
Yeah.
And then you'll get to like September or whatever, and they'll be like, here is a 1 minute video showing you the system, but not what any special features it is. just kind of like, like remember that original like
Like
Switch
it's gonna happen.
concept
Here it
video?
comes. That sort of thing. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the one where they showed him on like the balcony or some shit. It's just
Oh,
like,
the Switch concept video is the one where it was like, a guy was playing Breath of the Wild on his TV, and then he picks up his Switch and goes to walk his dog or whatever. And
mhm.
then, then there's some friends who are hanging out on the roof, and this kid's like, "Oh, let me bring my Switch up to this party and set it up on this table." So,
Yeah,
like, it would be something more like that. It would be like, "Oh, here's a cool concept video." But we're really not going to know what it is or what it does or what other special features it has or anything like that.
yeah.
And then with the Switch, remember they did like a official unveiling.
Mhm.
I think it was like October or something of that year, October or November. They
Okay.
did like a whole like live. Remember they did a live event for it. You don't remember? They did like
I
a
do
live.
not, to be completely honest. I was sitting here trying to think, and I was like, I do not remember that.
Yeah, they actually did a live show for it. If I remember, it wasn't even like a pre-recorded one.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, then they showed it off with like the different games or whatever. So I
Mhm.
remember, I think me, you, and Nick watched it live and did like an episode. I want to say with it.
Oh, I kind of remember that now.
Yeah. And then they were like, yeah, it's coming out in March or whatever. So I would not be surprised if we didn't follow like a similar time frame for this year, unless they want to get it out for the holidays. I think the biggest deciding factor on that is whether or not they have anything major for the holidays this year. I
Mhm.
feel like if they don't have anything major for the holidays, they might be more inclined to put the system out during the holidays.
Possibly.
If they do have something major during the holidays for the Switch, then they might wait till next year.
Mhm.
But we don't know. Because really, we don't know anything beyond July. So, because I think the last announced and dated title is Pikmin 4, I believe at this point.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, and that is all I have to say.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I ain't really got anything else either.
Mm-hmm. Ready to wrap up?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Well, then, thank you everyone for listening to us tonight. Don't forget to find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also check us out on our website, game-crunch.com. Check out all our episodes there. If you want to reach out to us too, we're Facebook, Twitter. You can send us an email at gamecrunchcast@gmail.com. Brandon,
Hey.
any final
Yeah,
thoughts?
no, I got nothing. I'm good.
All right. And with that said, my name is Mike Anastasia. You can find me online. I'm Clash of Penguin there or on your favorite gaming console. And until next week, game on.
Game on.
I need someone to comment on this. But I know
Okay.
you can. I asked my cousins, and none of them knew.
All right.
Okay. That is a picture of my cousin's boyfriend.
Okay.
Do you see it?
I do.
Okay. Is he the protagonist from Pokemon Scarlet?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right down to the red hat.
I know. I've been trying to settle this for days, and I figured out of all my cousins, at least one of them would have played Pokemon Violet and Scarlet.
But they
Not
haven't.
one.
What the fuck?
I'm very upset.
What the fuck?
I know. With as much as that game sold, you figured.
Someone had to, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you figured. Yeah, but no, a lot of my cousins. I'm the oldest out of my cousins.
Yeah.
And like my cousin who's his girlfriend plays video
Mhm.
games. She didn't play the new Pokemon. The
Okay.
youngest one was 17. I was like, "Hey, did you play the new Pokemon?" She's like, "I asked my mom for them for my birthday. His birthday was last week."
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "She wouldn't buy them for me." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I asked the other cousin. He's like, "Oh no." He's like, "I haven't played since Breath of the Wild." And like, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. The other cousin's current gamer, but he only plays RuneScape apparently.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like a full-time job, so I guess I understand.
Yeah, apparently. He was playing it on mobile and laptop while he was there. Oh, but he was also playing Theatrhythm. So,
Ooh,
yes, there's that.
that's a good game. That was a real good game.
That was his travel game. That's what he decided to play with. So,
Ah, is he playing on Switch?
yeah.
Oof, that's
I
a
don't think it's
shame.
on anything else, is it?
Yeah, it is. I have it on PS5.
Oh, okay.
It's either a PS4 version, 2 PS5, or PS5 native. I don't know which one, but I have it.
Okay. That's you're playing now. You didn't get the Switch one.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
I don't think it matters for Theatrhythm.
It absolutely does.
How so?
You constantly have to move the thumbstick around, like very quickly. So enjoy your Joy-Con drift.
No, you're gonna have Joy-Con drift anyway.
Huh?
Said you're gonna have Joy-Con drift anyways.
Yeah, you're gonna get way faster. That's the literal reason I did not buy it on Switch.
I mean, it's fair. Although you can, we never talked about it, and I don't think it's cost effective.
Uh-huh.
But there is that company that's making the contactless Switch things now, replacements.
Ah.
What I don't remember what the type of what that like type of joystick is called, but you know what I'm talking about. Like it's
Yes.
not like where it does it all with contactless, so so you wouldn't have to worry about drift at that point.
Okay.
But I think they're like $30 a pair, so it's like you know.